Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the beginner bikes and just kind of some quick details and maybe some pros and cons of just some of the main ones that I see and know about and have even seen some questions about on some other posts. So the way I'm going to run this down is I'm just going to go ahead and give you the quick details and specs, and then I'll just talk about some pros and cons real quick and move on. So first one I'm going to talk about is the CFMoto 450 SS. The MSRP is $5,499. They started in 2023 for their first year. They also have the 300 SS for some of the lower CC riders that I would say almost everything except for the specs is going to compare. So now let's move on to the specs. So it is a parallel twin 270 degree crank. Love the sound of a 270 degree parallel twin. Anybody that knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. Look them up and you'll completely understand. It's really hard to explain in words, at least to me. Anyway, so they have 50 horsepower, 28.8 foot-pounds of torque, and they weigh about 370 pounds. In my opinion, they are the best bang for the buck. They are up there tied with the most horsepower, and that's only as of this year. They have been the highest up until this year for the 400 to 500 cc range. As far as power goes, they're the best bang for their buck. I also love their technology. I have the app on my phone. It tells me anytime my bike is touched. I can track my bike. I can track my rides. I can track all that stuff. It even sends some alerts if like I get low on fuel, in case I don't notice it or something like that. It'll pop up on my phone or whatever, and it'll kind of alert me. Even some high rev, high speed situations, it tells you that too. They are relatively newer bikes, so there is a little bit of a lackluster amount of aftermarket support and information. However, for being a new bike, they kind of hit the market pretty hard. So honestly, I would say 85% of what you're looking for you can find. There's a couple things here and there that, I mean, over time people will make DIY videos and whatnot, and they will come to light. So take that for what you will. CFMoto being so new to the game, obviously you do have to take into account that they don't have the history that all of these other manufacturers have, like Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda, Ducati, all that stuff. So they don't have that history. However, there are a lot of people that have put a lot of miles on these CFMoto bikes. Some people have some issues, most people don't. So really, honestly, it's the same as every other manufacturer. If you take care of it, it'll take care of you. Every once in a while, you're gonna get that one here or there that just didn't get the same quality as the other ones. Sometimes it can literally just be a matter of tooling on a machine or the quality of the material that they get. That is going to be the same for all of these bikes. Every bike that you can possibly get, you're going to have some that are going to be better than others that come off the production line. Alright, so let's move on to the Yamaha R3. I will be honest, I don't know a whole lot about these bikes, and I have not ridden one. However, I've seen them in person, I've sat on one, and I did a little bit of research for this video so that I could give you guys at least some factual information, because the last thing I want to do is give anybody the wrong impression on any of these bikes, because I know that some people very well may use this video as a reference for buying their first bike. So Yamaha R3, MSRP of $5,499, same as the 450 SS. First year of this model was 2015. It is an inline twin, 42 horsepower, 21.3 foot-pounds of torque, weighing in at 373 pounds. A 300cc motorcycle. It's for cruising around in a town area, first bike vibes, or even in somewhere like Thailand or something like that, that would be considered like a fast bike. That being said, in most rural areas, this probably isn't going to be what you're looking for, unless you're just looking for something to learn. Now, on to the pros. They are a great bike to learn from scratch. Sitting on one and being able to feel the ergonomics of the bike, I think that they are a great learning bike. Again, haven't ridden one, but I have sat on one. Also, I've looked into this online as well to see if other people agreed with my opinion, since, again, haven't ridden it. Pretty much everybody agrees with that, so take that for what you will. They also have a very low seat height, so it is a little bit more friendly for the shorter crowd. Not that I'm part of the taller crowd. I'm 5'10" and a half on a good day. But anyway, they also are just beautiful bikes. I mean, objectively beautiful bikes. I absolutely love the way they look. For a smaller CC bike, they look phenomenal. And I say that because most of the larger CC bikes are much wider and have a better stance. So anyway, I would say that the one major con that I have is the power. I mean, no matter how you look at it, 42 horsepower is a very low number, and you will outgrow it pretty quickly. That being said, if you're someone that just wants it just to enjoy the ride, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's a beautiful bike, so I stand by that. And guys, remember, as a beginner rider, you may not know this, but when you're talking about 370 pounds, 5, 10, 15 horsepower is a very big difference. So keep that in mind for all of your shopping needs. Alright, let's move on to the Ninja 400-500 combo. I'm going to give you all the 400 specs, and then I'll go to the 500. 400 specs. First year was 2018. MSRP of $5,199. They are parallel twin, 48 horsepower, 28 foot-pounds of torque, and 366 pounds. Moving on, I'm going to go ahead and go to the 500. It is a rather newer bike, 2024, first year, $5,299 MSRP, parallel twin, 51 horsepower, 31.7 foot-pounds of torque, 375 pounds. Now, some will say that the 500 is only a thing because Kawasaki did not like that CFMoto came in and stole their thunder. Take that for what you will. You can come up with your own opinion on that. I have no idea. Now, that being said, going on to the pros, they are objectively a great platform. They are a great platform on the road, on the track, whatever you want. They have a ton of aftermarket support, so pretty much any and everything that you could possibly want, they have it. They also obviously have a outstanding history. I mean, upstanding history even, I might say. They're great bikes. I mean, they are, I would say, one of the top beginner bikes, if not the top beginner bike, in all honesty. They are very similar with the 450 SS, slightly more money on the 500 side if you really actually want to go into it. MSRP is lower, however, they have a lot of different models, and that MSRP is for the base model. So keep that in mind. Even though that price that I told you is cheap, it gets a little bit more pricey if you want some more options. For instance, some more technology, some ABS, things like that. So take that for what you will. To get up to where the 450 SS is, I would say you're probably looking closer to like the $56.99, $57.99 area. Rough guess though, I'm not looking that up for this. I don't care. I personally do not think that there's any reason to spend the extra money on the 500. I would personally just say go with the 400 that's a couple years older, get it for cheaper, and you basically have the same bike, if I'm being completely honest. So we're going to move on now to one of the, I would say probably most popular, I would just guess, which is going to be the Rebel 300 to 500. I say most popular because probably if you know people that ride, they have ridden a Rebel 300 or 500, or even maybe a 250. I think they had a Rebel 250 before the 300. The Rebel line itself that's been around for ages. However, the 300 and the 500 both came around 2017, give or take. I found some misleading information on that. I think it was 2017. You guys can fact check me in the comments if I'm wrong. The 300 MSRP'd at $4,599. It is a single cylinder, 25 horsepower, 17.6 foot-pounds of torque, 364 pounds. The 500 MSRP'd at $6,499. It was a parallel twin, 45 horsepower, 30 foot-pounds of torque, weighing in at 408 pounds. That being said, major difference between the 300 and 500 Rebels. Me personally, I don't think that a 300 is worth your time. Unless, again, you're just a full-on green rider, never ridden a motorcycle, dirt bike, moped, scooter in your life. And even then, that's still questionable. So I would say, personally, I would choose the 500 over the 300, even if I were to recommend a completely green rider. I just think that 25 horsepower is not enough. So the pros are they have a very long history. So there's plenty of information, there's plenty of aftermarket support, there's plenty of just about everything that you can think of for the Rebel, kind of similar to the 400, 500 Ninjas. I would say they are one of, if not the best beginner bike if you're wanting a cruiser style bike. They are somewhat slow, little on the torquier side. They are pretty bikes. They do look great. Like I said, they're slow, and I would even say somewhat of a boring bike, but there's a lot that you can do with them, and you can customize them and make them look however you want. And so, I mean, I would say there's a little bit of a cool factor, cool style mixed in there. Honorable mention, I'm going to say a Grom for someone that is, again, starting out completely green, doesn't even know what a clutch is or something. Or even for someone that's just wanting something for, like, around their property or something like that. They want to do something like that. They have 9.7 horsepower, 7.7 foot-pounds of torque. They roughly weigh 230 pounds, give or take. And if you have zero knowledge, but you want to learn how to balance a bike, how to use a clutch, how to really just ride something. I mean, this is like, you know how to ride a bicycle, and that's about it. That's what this I'm saying is an honorable mention for. I would say that this is a great starting platform for somebody that barely knows how to ride a bike but wants to learn how to ride a motorcycle. So that is going to be the end of my list. There's plenty of other beginners bikes that you can start on. However, these are just the top ones that I could think of that I wanted to kind of talk about and give everybody my opinions and give everybody the facts. If there's anything that I did say that was wrong, please fact check me in the comments. Feel free, let me know that I screwed up. You guys are going to do that anyway, let's be honest. I don't personally think that a beginner bike is something that you really need to take lightly. I would say 600cc or lower, preferably lower than 600cc bikes, would be my recommendation to start on. Something that you enjoy the looks of, and make sure that you're comfortable on the bike, because that's one of the bigger things that people overlook is, are you comfortable in the seating position of the bike? Is the seat itself very uncomfortable? most bikes you can buy a comfort seat for, but just be prepared that the comfort seat is going to sit higher. On almost any bike that you buy, if you buy a comfort seat for it, your seat height goes up. So just keep that in mind, that if you do love a bike and you're right on that cusp of being a little bit too short for that bike, and you go and buy a comfort seat, you may overdo it and you may end up screwing yourself. So keep that in mind. At the end of the day, this whole hobby is to have fun and to enjoy it. So make sure that you are comfortable on the bike, because you will not have fun if you are uncomfortable on the bike. Also, you don't want to go out and buy a bike for your first bike and then not enjoy it, because all that's going to do is ruin the entire experience of riding. Make sure that you guys tell me any kind of topics or anything that you want me to cover. You can even tell me what kind of thing you want me to cover in a vlog style video. If you just want me to just kind of like yap about something, or if you want me to do something, if you want me to go and like, if there's somewhere around the Columbia, South Carolina area that you're like, hey, I've always wanted to go here. What if you went here and did a video on it, and that way we could see it? Something like that even. I mean, I'm down for that. So just keep that in mind. Let me know. Most of you probably clicked off by now, but it's all good. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Again, make sure you tell me below how much you hate that I did this video.